those early season kind of like defining moments for the Cardinals where if we're in here on Monday and we're talking about a win over the Lions, now we really start maybe reassessing what we think they're capable of. Now we start rethinking what it is that they're capable of.
Totally.
I mean, if they beat the Lions,
yeah. And they're 2-1.
It suddenly it's like, okay, on second thought, maybe my 11-win prediction isn't so nuts. On second thought, maybe the idea of them making the playoffs isn't so nuts in this year.
Got the Commanders coming up after that. You could be 3-1. You might be like, okay, 3-1 start. Yeah, you might get to the point where like, okay, is this team really going to go to the playoffs? Now, you know, you got to play the game. Detroit's a good football team. You mentioned it yesterday. Jared Goff is incredible after a loss. Every time they lost the game last year, I think 5 times they came back and won the next week. So he's had a great success, history of success against the Cardinals. I believe he's 8-1 against Arizona. Has won 8 straight, and he's very good off of a loss. Dan Campbell took that one to heart last week. Felt that was on him. The mistakes that he made as the head coach as to why they lost that game. So they're going to be ready to play the Cardinals this weekend.
He was on the ticket talking about Dan Campbell, sports radio in Detroit, and he said, honestly, I'm not shocked that we're off to this slow start offensively. And then he went on to say, I wouldn't be surprised if it lasts a little bit longer.
No, I mean, look, you're always hopeful that you're going to hit the ground running. I mean, every coach will tell you that. I mean, you're just hopeful that, man, you're hitting on all cylinders and it comes. But, no, I'm not shocked. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be shocked if we're not cooking by the time we get to the bye. I mean, sometimes it takes a minute. I mean, all those great offenses we had in New Orleans, the great offenses that we've had here over the last 3 years, man, it's not always perfect, and it's not always perfect early.
Now that caught my attention because it's kind of fits back into the whole Buffalo thing we were talking about in week 1. Like, make an argument that if you want to play Detroit, you want to get them a little early while they're still trying to figure out their offense a little bit.
Why are they still trying to figure out their offense? Montgomery was there last year. Gibbs was there last year. Laporta was there last year. Amon-Ra St. Brown was there last year. Jared Goff was there last year. Our offensive line was there last year. Why is it taking so long? Why would it take so long for a team that's got so many guys coming back?
It's a great question.
To figure it out.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And if
you wouldn't think that.
I know you wouldn't think that at all. But, and which is why I'm surprised he said it. Because I'm surprised. Like, it's almost like he's giving himself, a little bit of grace period on this one. He's giving his team a little bit of grace period. Like, hey, if we're not clicking by the bye, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if it takes a while for this thing to click. Because you're right. There is a level of continuity with that offense. It shouldn't take them that long to click. It shouldn't take them that long to figure it out.
Right tackle moving to left tackle. You've got a new guy on right tackle who got injured. Like, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. is your number 1 receiver. And he's like, I can understand the Cardinals maybe needing a little time because you've got some new pieces coming in. But for the Lions, it's like even the Cardinals, Trey Benson, he wasn't here last year, but Montgomery and Gibbs were. They shouldn't need that much time to click because they're all back.
Mm-hmm. They're all back, and they're all good. And this matchup coming up, like we talked a little bit about the violence, the physicality of this matchup coming up on Sunday. It's a 2-week sample size, so take it for what it is. But I think we can also look back last year, to your point, what Jahmyr Gibbs did, what Campbell did, what James Conner did last year, and the Cardinals' ability to rush the football. These are 2 premier rushing teams in the National Football. I mean, premier to the point where I was looking at a quote that was put out there by this is Teo Mackey from AZ Central. Cardinals outside linebackers coach Rob Rodriguez on the Lions offensive tackles, quote, "You put on the one-on-one tape, I almost wanted to take a nap afterwards. I was depressed," close quote.
Wow.
These are 2 physically elite running offenses. And you got to think that the winner of this game on Sunday is probably whichever team can establish its run game over the other, because that has been, right? That's where it starts for both teams.
You could sit there and say that Detroit's got power and then in Montgomery and then the shiftiness in Gibbs. And you look at the Cardinals and say Connor's power and kind of Benson's more of a power, but then the Cardinals have Murray. So Murray kind of gives the Lions what Gibbs does.
Amen.
All right? So it's
amen.
Like, it's not just like what everybody likes about, or what I like about the Lions rushing attack, I think it's the dynamic, is just how different those 2 running backs are. They're just so different. All last year, Montgomery would get the first series, Gibbs would get the second. Montgomery get the third, Gibbs would get the fourth. Now, tough goal line situations, Montgomery would come in because of the sheer size and strength of Montgomery being able to get the ball in from 1 or 2 yards out. The Cardinals have that in Connor, They don't have the shiftiness than anybody else. You could say, okay, Marty DeMarco, but that doesn't really count to me. The shiftiness comes with Murray.
Oh, no, you're right. No. Kyler is the
Gibbs.
the lightning to the thunder.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no doubt he's the lightning to the thunder in that offense in terms of their ability to run the football, but it has been elite so far. ESPN put up this graphic earlier in the week. Yards per rush, Cardinals are 5th. 10-plus yard rushes, Cardinals are 3rd. First downs off of running the football, Cardinals are tied for 2nd. Yards before contact, they're 1st. I saw some cut-ups of the Cardinals' offensive line just mauling the Rams at the point to the point where James Conner had wide open gap, and it set up everything they did. Can they do that against Detroit? Can they have? I mean, Detroit, one of the best rush defenses in the National Football League so far this year. Whoever can establish what they want to do on the ground will have the clear advantage on Sunday in this game.
You know, we talk about Petzing as a guy on the rise. Aaron Glenn, too, right? Aaron Glenn's a guy that a lot of people like as a coordinator in this league for the Lions. Was a great defensive player. He's a guy that's gotten some head coaching opportunities. He's a very good defensive mind. Very, very good defensive mind.
Both of their coordinators are guys who kind of made the rounds last year. Ben Johnson is their offensive coordinator. Yep. They both, the Lions are one of those teams where people were like, do we want to hire their DC? Do we want to hire their OC? Do we want to kind of tap into what it is that they're doing and what it is that makes them so great? It's you're right. We talk about Petzing all the time. The Lions have 2 guys who, now for whatever reason, they didn't get a gig in the last cycle, but both of those guys were highly sought after interview conversations given the last head coaching cycle and the last head coaching search. And I wonder if that happens again. You're right. They're both very respected.
One of the things that the Cardinals did really well last week, and if they do it again this week, I think they could win, is just the sheer length and time of their drives. They had one 99-yard drive. And it went for a touchdown. Like, you know, if you're able to go on those 10, 11 play, 8-minute drives, man, you wear down the defense, and then the offense just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting to play because in real time, that's like 15, 20 minutes.
I have never been as interested in a game in my life to count the number of tight ends on the field at any given time for the Cardinals. Like this whole 12 personnel, 11 personnel, 13 personnel thing. I have never in my life, I've been a football fan since I was 5. Never have I thought I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 tight ends. Okay, they're in 13. 1, 2. Okay, they're in 12. You know, like I've never thought about it like that. But given how much conversation there has been this week of the Cardinals' ability to have these sustained drives when they're running an offense with 3 tight ends out there, you watch. When I'm in the press box, I'm going to be counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, every time.
We're going 15 personnel if Beacham's out.
5 tight ends.
5 tight ends.
5 offensive linemen.
5 and then there's just direct snap to James Conner. Murray's out of the game, too. Just direct snap to Conner, 5 tight ends blocking if Beacham's out.
Am I lining up Marvin Harrison Jr. as a tight end? Something tells me that's... And we haven't even gotten to that. Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Marvin Harrison and how that kind of matches up as well. It's just going to be a fun game on Sunday.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.